Hey guys, Thomas Asula Jr. here, aka Mustached Tom, the talentless hack with under 1,000 subs. A new intro, a working intro. I think I'll do that once every so often just to put that out there. But I'm here to review the movie, The Commuter. This is a 2018 movie, and I apologize for the blurriness of the image to my right, but whatever. That's all about the talentless hackness there. Anyway, getting to this movie, this is a movie with Liam Neeson, so it's no shocker that this is an action movie. It takes place on a train, which, if memory serves, there was another train movie with Liam Neeson that was also an action movie, but I don't recall what the name of that movie was. So anyways, in this train movie that's also an action movie, which is now also a slight mystery, Liam Neeson plays this guy named Michael, who is essentially this sort of business type guy. He gives like insurance policies and stuff like that out. He spends a brief moment with his family. He has a wife, he has a son, he's going to college, and they're talking about how expensive college is, and then he goes off to take several rides. So, he eventually gets on, well, what else? A train. And from there, he's sort of moving about from cart, I believe they're called carts, or departments, or whatever you want to call them. I'll call them carts. I think that's what the term is. To, essentially just move around, see what's going on. He eventually finds a seat and is, at some point, joined by some mysterious woman. She introduces herself. I don't remember what her name was, but she essentially starts asking questions, and she tells him that she's sort of like this, journalist or something along those lines. And she gives an example of oh, there are these many types of different people, blah blah blah. And she eventually brings up, oh, I want you to do one small thing for me. It gains his interest. She says that she wants him to find a person named Prin, this is a code name, and take that person out via device. Plant a device and essentially, have that person killed or something along those lines. And in it for him would be a lot of money. I don't remember what the exact amount was. It was I don't know, 10,000 plus or something. So she leaves immediately, and then he goes to find the money immediately, and then he discovers that it is real, the money's actually there. So he starts to wonder, is this actually happening? And he goes to try to leave, but then is joined by some younger girl on one of the stops who says, this is very real, and if you try to stop now, you'll be punished for it. So, after seeing that, I believe it was at this point where the girl gives him, the wife's ring, and that gets him worried, so he tries to start talking to people to try to discover who Prin is. And he does this by trying to see which one of them is getting off at a specific stop, the stop that I believe she might have mentioned, or I don't know what the deal with that was, but, he has until, I would say, what the final stop is to discover who it is. So he's trying to talk to people who are in those seats, one by one. Each person has their own little story, and blah blah blah. There are a few red herrings. I think those are done okay. None of them really stick out all too much. But, yeah. But, he essentially does his thing, gets in a few action fights, with one of the, questionnaires, because one of them was like an FBI agent who's like, oh, why are you following me? And then they fight. The second one was with this other guy who's working with them as well. This whole government thing that was going on. And they fight as well, and then he's like killing people and doing his thing. But the time is running out. He sees that they were willing to kill another individual by having him run over when he got off. Because he tried to warn him to the police. That didn't work out. So the police, they oh man, they eventually do that whole thing. So yeah, there's that. And the police are trying to get to that stop, but at that point the train just keeps going because he's like, no, I'm not gonna do this, even though like at this point I believe he discovers who Print is, and I won't, it's a pretty good reveal. I think, again, the red herrings were pretty good and the reveal's pretty good. So I'll just leave it at that, but then, see, he's like, oh, I'll protect, this person, even with the whole family issue, so yeah. So the train keeps going, and then they try really hard to derail the train. It was really weird to see the conductor like suddenly want to help, because he had a gun at his person. He was like holding it up earlier and stuff like that. And he's like, oh, these people are trying to kill us, and they didn't really have else much to go on but his word. So there's that. So they eventually have the cart derailed, and then a bunch of the cars in front blow up, and then their cart gets like derailed, and then it keeps going. And when it stops, the police all try to catch up. And we have Michael say cover the windows because he's like an ex-cop, and that's how he also knows how to fight. So he has the people cover up the windows. He lets some hostages out, even though they're, So the cops are there, and then they send in one of Michael's friends, who's also a cop, which they didn't really specify earlier in the movie. He happens to also be the very cop that was involved in another case with what would appear to have been a suicide, but it ended up not being the case. And so that was all put together. And we have our third fight with Michael and his ex-best friend duking it out, and so on and so forth, with the cops there, waiting to see the results. So Michael wins the day out. He gets to reunite with his family. And the commander of the cops was like, oh, we could use a guy like you back in the force. And he's like, I'll consider it. He had lost his job, by the way, at this way earlier in the movie. So he decides to take up that mantle. And at the end of the movie, we see him. We see the initial woman who gave him the task, sitting in a cart by herself, or with some other people just sort of around. And he walks to her, and she's all like, "Oh, what are you gonna do?" And then he shows her the badge. And that is the end of the movie The Commuter. It has a few good red herrings, but also at the same point, I think it also has as many plot holes as red herrings, I would want to say. Or, and the family's not even really well defined. It's just like, oh, he has a wife, he has a son who's in college, and that's all you really need to know to care about when their reunion happens. It's like, So the actions, it's okay. I give this movie a 5 out of 10. It's halfway there, I think. So yeah, it's okay. It's halfway decent. So that's my review of The Commuter, and if you enjoyed this review, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, check out that link in the description. It will head you over to my Patreon page. Any donations are greatly appreciated since, I'm a hackless I'm a hackless, talentless person with under 1,000 subs, so, if you want to donate anything to a talentless hack, then please feel free to. And if you want to keep, keep up the stuff, as I said before, do all the other stuff. So, until next time, everyone, bye!